Hello, Ray Phoenix here. Welcome to Let's Play Spyro 3: Year of the Dragon, Part 7. We're reuniting with all the characters, the cast and characters we met throughout the course of this homeworld, as they're gonna bring us that hot air balloon and take us to the next homeworld. And this guy, the mayor of the ancient Greek or Roman level, says he just showed up for punch and cookies. What a cheapskate. And then this guy from the sky base level is like, oh yeah, we can take you to the sky. Yeah, because going to the sky is probably your thing. And this Rocky guy is going to be saying, like, yeah, he'll take you off into the Tiki Lodge in the sky. Yeah, using his metaphorical, philosophical crap on us. Where we'll be going to the Midday Gardens, Attack of the Metaphors, yeah. Tiki Lodge in sky. Something tells us we're not going to get there just yet. We're going to be intercepted by a cutscene. Story cutscenes. This game is the best story in the trilogy, where it's going to be more of the sorceress bad-mouthing her one and only servant, Bianca, and saying like, oh, nothing you do is great, and it's like, but you don't pay me to do anything. You're just a stupid girl. That sounds like a song by Garbage. And it's like, and he's just going to be like barking at her saying, oh, you should do more. Yeah, but what is more? You're not really giving, and she obviously doesn't get paid much. And the sorceress probably has way too many gems with her that, she probably doesn't, she does things, but she's still very cheap, which is typical for a villain of this type. Pretty much all the great villains are cheapskates, just like the mayor of that city we visited. He's also a cheapskate. Is everyone in this game a cheapskate? Even Moneybags is demanding more and more from us now. They should have called this game Spyro 3: Attack of the Cheapskates. That would have been a pretty, that would have been a much more fitting title for us. And Sergeant Bird is captured. Well, we're gonna meet him later. Sergeant Bird, maybe practicing magic, like transforming stuff into different things. The most, the most Harry Potter-esque magic you could think of. Yeah, just transforming into something. A very basic spell, I would imagine. I'm sure it's the first thing wizards learn as soon as they get to whatever this realm's version of Hogwarts is, or whatever it is. And we're going to be confronting the boss, the first boss in the game. And this boss is also kind of a cheapskate. He refuses to do anything more than just stand there and shoot fire at us. But Sheila's gonna help us out. Sheila's gonna be like our, gonna do some like, well, what do you call it, like head bash, like kind of like what head bash, or like ground pounding into them. So a 3D platformer doesn't have a ground pound move in it. And this boss is kind of a wuss. This game is more bosses than Spyro 2, but most of the bosses in this game are complete total wussies. Where all you really do for this guy to fight him is just to, just like ram into him and knock him off into the lava, where Sheila's gonna do her magic, work her magic, and pound into the guy and take off about a tenth or so of his health. At least that's what it looks like it's taken off, but I don't know, it doesn't say any like percentage numbers there, so I have no idea how much, what percent of health it's actually taking off, but we're doing a number against him. He hasn't laid a finger on us once. He's probably gonna become more aggressive now. I mean, there's bosses in Ratchet and Clank games that are very similar to this. This is probably where they got the idea for those boss fights. It's also a bit like in Super Mario 64 when you had to like throw Bowser into those spike ball things and he destroys them or something like that. I don't know, I haven't played that game in a long time. I wonder if anyone still remembers that game. I mean, a lot of people don't remember this game. I remember mentioning this game to someone at a Christmas party once, and they never heard of Spyro before. Guess it goes to show how Spyro's not really that popular anymore, or not that well liked anymore. Which is quite a shame. I mean, these games are still some of the best games ever made, and nothing's going to change that. Something is good, it will remain good permanently. That's definitely the case with these games. They definitely stood the test of time. More than a decade after I initially bought them, I'm still actively playing these games and getting through them. And I actually think I got that. I think I got better times now in Spyro 1, where I do speedruns of that game. And I beat the game in like 5 hours now, which is much less than it was when I did my Let's Play some time ago. So yeah, that's alright. I'm getting through it a lot faster. Even Spyro 2, I'm getting through that game a lot faster too. Like to sit, no, I didn't get for that game. I got for that game like 6 hours or so now, I think, or something like that. I haven't done any speedrun stuff like that with this game. Maybe I should do that. But then again, this game is like twice as long. This game's longer than Spyro's 1 and 2 combined together. Or so they say. This guy took out almost all my health. Seemed like I took out half of his health without him laying a finger on me. At the end, he just got overly aggressive. But we collected another egg, rescuing another seemingly innocent dragon that's surely not going to grow up to become anything questionable. So we can finally jump off into our hot air balloon and go off to the next homeworld of the game, the Midday Gardens. It was a sunrise spring lake earlier, and now it's the midday gardens and midday of the world. It almost sounds like Mayday a bit. It sounds like something you'd yell if you're flying a plane that's about to crash. I'm sure all the people in Star Wars Jedi Starfighter constantly say that, considering how broken some parts of that game are when you play on hard mode. I would know, I was just doing that a few days ago, practicing for more of my Let's Plays, or more stuff I'll be making videos about. And I was just gonna be like saying like, oh, you don't know what dangers are ahead of you. You should just run away when you still have a chance. Yeah, if we did that the first sign of danger, well, Nasty Nork would rule the Dragon Worlds and Ripto would rule Avalar. And that's not the case because Spyro exists. This powerful purple dragon with so many different powers is gonna, destroy the main villain. He always destroys every villain he comes across. Spyro never loses. There we go, we just fried one of those bunnies, which gave us some health. Now we're the blue sparks. And we can just run through here and capture and fry more of these things. And look, one of them gave us a 1-up. Yeah, this game can be somewhat generous with 1-ups. You already have quite a lot of lives already. I think 99 is the most amount of lives you could have in this game. I'm not even sure if I ever got that many lives in this game. This game does get brutally challenging in the later levels. But we're not at those later levels yet. We're still somewhat early into the game. We're doing more of the stuff we knew from Spyro 2. Just jumping in water and charging, collecting the gems, and destroying those things. I'm pretty sure they use those exact models in Spyro 2. In fact, a lot of the models in this game are from Spyro 2. Sometimes this game feels like an expansion of Spyro 2. It's like Spyro 2, but with more features and a different story almost. Then again, a lot of game sequels kind of seem like that. Especially if they're made by the same developers. It's gonna run after this thief. Pretty sure that thief was also in Spyro 1. Which makes sense. We're in the same worlds, I think, that Spyro 1 was set. It makes sense they'd have the same thieves and the same kinds of dragons. I'm sure it's an obscure part of the same world, but still the same world nonetheless. Trixie! Yeah, rescue's own name, Trixie. Sounds like a perfect name for a dragon. And here's where Sergeant Bird is being detained. And Moneybags is the one that's holding him in. I'll give you some Moneybags if you shut up. Yeah, the fireworks factory. It's foreshadowing something we're going to be seeing in a future level. The fireworks factory. Which awesome game doesn't have a fireworks factory level in it, or any kind of level in any kind of factory level in general. All the great games have at least one factory level in them, right? There we go. Sergeant Bird is freed. James Bird, Sergeant James Bird, his army commando Penguin is now with our group of heroes you unlocked throughout the course of this game. Now can theoretically go back to the Molten Crater, whatever it was called, and finally get that level 100% complete. I'm just gonna save it for the end of the game. That's usually how I play. I usually do like at the end of games when I go back and get that. And he's just bragging about his weapons now. Still, he's a big weapons enthusiast. Probably loves going to army surplus stores and just buying stuff he sees lying around. And weapons is probably included in that. I'm pretty sure these Dragon Worlds have very lenient, laws about weapons. Considering the fact that weapons seem to be quite abundant in these Spyro games. Almost everyone has some kind of weapon in these games. Nasty Nork's men had weapons. All the people in Avalar had some sort of like weapon ship or some sort of ship that had weapons in it or something like that. And even shock sticks are weapons as well too, and they had a lot of those in Spyro too. And man, these games are loaded with weapons. I wonder if that's more of where they got the idea for Ratchet and Clank. Ratchet and Clank's a game that has tons of weapons in it. What has more weapons, Ratchet and Clank or Spyro? Probably Ratchet and Clank. We're gonna go to Sergeant Bird's base. We just unlocked Sergeant Bird, so of course we're going to want to play as him in his all full glory, where he's probably going to blast a bunch of... He's going to go into, like, patriotic mode. He's going to, like, blast down a bunch of people that threaten the forces of capitalism, and he's going to be, like, the one that's going to raise the flag at the end and say that, I decimated all the enemies. But first we have to rescue these birds, these hummingbirds, or whatever they're called, or mockingbirds, or whatever they are. A bunch of them got captured and imprisoned in cages, kind of like the Electoons from the original Rayman. And we're gonna save them by blasting the cages, of course. Because Sergeant Bird's weapons magically know what's a bad guy and what's not. It knows that if you shoot at good guys, it does nothing, it doesn't harm them. But if it shoots at saying it's a bad guy, it will kill them. His weapons have, magical powers to know that. Perhaps his weapons have some sort of magical consciousness that somehow magically knows if you're attacking an enemy or a hero. It definitely knows the difference. There we go, rescue this private hummingbirds. Yeah, they are hummingbirds. To rescue 4 more hummingbird soldiers. I wonder where they are. There's no mapping system in this game. At least I don't think there's any kind of map. So we're going to be finding this. Oh, there we go. There's a hidden opening we could jump and fly into. Find this little opening here. This one's probably going to tell us stuff we already know about using our weapons. Like, oh, do you know if you pressed and held the triangle button, you could aim and do this? Do you know that if you aim properly, you could hit the targets better? Do you know that you actually have to hit targets for them to register as being dead and not just randomly shoot like a madman? Yeah, I know that. Of course I know that. It's always state the obvious. All the great heroes state the obvious. Look, Robin, that jet has set a bomb for us. We must go and stop it. Oh, gee willikers, Batman. It's going to destroy the entire city. Yeah, just one specific city getting destroyed, and it's a big deal. Like, how important is that city to them anyways? Is it like, will the world still exist as we know it if that city didn't exist? I wonder how significant those cities and those comic books really are. Those, like, DC comics, like Gotham City. How significant is it really to the entire world where they live, the universe where they live? There we go, rescued another one of these dragons, one of these young dragons. Yes, dragon eggs, just rescue them. The Rhinox have blocked the way of the next cave. Oh yeah, Rhinox are no match for me and my weapons. These Rhinoxes get killed easy in just one hit. They're like, it's like a knife cutting through butter. These Rhinox are some of the useless enemies around. We could go and destroy them easy. They're not a challenge to this flying penguin with weapons. Because apparently penguins can fly in Spyro's universe, in Spyro's world, or whatever you call this. Flying penguins. That just blast out everything. Those Rhinox don't even look like soldiers. They look more like gardeners. But I think that's what they're supposed to be, because they're throwing plants and flowers on them. Yeah, the plants would have like flower pots. That's a very underrated army weapon. The army should really prescribe those and gardeners to their armed forces. Gardeners are always the greatest soldiers ever. They just work in the yard all day, every day, and they make the greatest weapons around. Natural weapons that just magically grow from the ground. You don't have to worry about shortages, unless there's like a crop failure or something like that. And there's these hedgehog things that randomly just poke their heads out of the ground or randomly poke themselves around. I don't know what these do. I'm not sure if it's something we're actually expected to kill or not. I think we can. I know we can kill them, but I'm not sure if it actually does anything or not. Or if there's like a special reward or something like that for killing all of them. For killing all the innocent little hedgehogs. Or are they really innocent? Maybe they're hiding a dirty little secret deep down underneath the ground, where they crawl and run into the ground. And they probably keep all kinds of nuclear secrets under there. And of course, our magical weapons are doing nothing against the hummingbirds because they're our friends. But they are going to do stuff against hedgehogs, because apparently hedgehogs are not our friends. Is there some symbolism in that? Were they secretly trying to take a stab at some other famous hedgehog that was considered a competitor to this game? Maybe they were doing that. And this was around the time Sega was supposedly regaining their fame and thunder, mostly with their underrated system, the Sega Dreamcast. One of the most underrated systems known to man. And some people are saying, oh, Sega Dreamcast, what is that? Oh, it's a system Sega made that only lasted for 2 years, maybe not even. It only lasted for 2 years? It must have sucked. It didn't suck. It's actually one of the best systems ever. A lot of systems that aren't that, well, not really a lot, but there's some other systems that didn't last very long. They were really good, like the Atari 7800. That system was pretty good, and it only lasted for like, not sure how long it lasted for in total. It's mostly just a slightly better Atari 2600. Imagine they made a Spyro game for the Atari 2600. That would be pretty fun. They could have like Sergeant Bird. You play a Sergeant Bird or Spyro and you like blast down Rhinox and you get a score based on, so you have like a last score. That's the only kind of game I'd imagine it would be if they actually made that game for the Atari 2600. So considering the fact that Atari 2600 games are Mostly just very, like, basic, bare bones video games. But I say it's just as fun as banging a drum. Like taking that Indonesian drum I have and just randomly banging my hand on it and see what we could get out of it. Well, what do you expect to get out of it? It's a drum. It just makes a sound and you clap your hand onto it or clash your hand over its surface. There we go. It's going to do some overkill bombing, and there we go. Destroyed that hedgehog, that innocent little hedgehog. It's not going to give us anything. Really killed that hog. Showed him who's boss. I think there's one in here. Oh yeah, there is another hedgehog in here. Die, you stupid hedgehog. Oh, I didn't even aim properly, and he died anyways. Guess that whole aiming thing was useless then, aiming properly. I guess that was a useless thing then. We didn't really have to aim really at all to kill that small moving target. I think you would have had to aim considering it was a small moving target, but I guess small moving targets aren't always challenging to hit. Sometimes they're quite easy to kill and hit. And Sparks is gone, which means we're out of health. Only to regain him. There we go. Now we have Sparks again. And the level's apparently complete. Now we supposedly accomplished our mission. Even there's still some missing. There's still at least one hummingbird that's missing. And there's still tons of gems and eggs that are still missing. And I haven't caught chance level 2. So this level is not really over yet. Bray Phoenix, signing out.